Greetings. Thanks for tuning in to Diva Speaks. If you're a newcomer, I appreciate you. I hope you like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment at the end. Much obliged. I would like to speak on something that's dear to my heart, and a lot of us can relate to it, and it's regarding mental illness. And this is to our brother, Lashawn Thompson. He was schizophrenic. And September the 13th, 22, this is last year, he was 35 years old. Here in Michigan, they had a mental institution. They had several. I remember two. But the main state one, they closed that down in the 80s. And they put the people out on the street. Some of them were able to find, or they had family members who were able to put them in group homes. But many of them just began to walk the streets. And if you think about mental illness, when one gets depressed and they go to the doctor, the first thing they ask you is, are you keeping up your body hygiene? Are you doing your functioning or cleaning up the home like you used to? Because that's a sign of the mind breaking down when you no longer want to clean, be tidy. Like hoarders. Is that mental illness? When you just refuse to clean. I look at documentaries of Africa and India, and trash be everywhere in your surroundings. But when your mind is clear, even though you pour and live in filth, you won't live in filth because you will sweep the dirt. But when you're schizophrenic and when your mind is mentally ill, you just break down and you refuse to keep up your bodily functions. Cleanliness is not an issue anymore because your mind is you're just gone. So this young man, Lashawn Thompson, our brother, 35 years old, in the South, Atlanta jail. Everything is happening in the South. My last video was about Lashawn Carter, who was murdered in Mississippi by Klan. This is Atlanta jail, where the state and taxpayer pay money. Okay, a jail, not prison. A man who died in an Atlanta jail cell was eaten alive by insects and bed bugs. The family's lawyer has alleged. Lashawn Thompson was jailed on a misdemeanor, and placed in the Fulton County Jail psychiatric wing. It wasn't a wing, it was a cell that looked like trash. I'm going to show you. That's his room. And he didn't clean, and they didn't come in to let him clean. To let anyone else clean. They just threw him in there. And a schizophrenic, their mind is not on cleanliness. They don't care. They don't even know if they're hungry or not, most of them. And to put him in there, let me read. Okay. Family attorney Michael D. Harper released photos showing Mr. Thompson's body riddled with bugs. He didn't have the mind to even just get rid of the bugs on his body. When your mind is trying to leave you, or when it's completely gone, that's not an issue. He is calling for a criminal investigation and told reporters a lawsuit is pending. Mr. Thompson was found dead in a filthy jail cell after being eaten alive by insects and bed bugs. Mr. Harper said in a statement, the jail cell Mr. Thompson was housed in was not fit for a diseased animal. And that's what they consider black people, animals, less than animals. They do animals better than they do black people. So he was mentally ill. This keep happening. What we gonna do? Just keep talking about it? What we gonna do? Just keep talking about it. According to a Fulton County medical examiner's report, Mr. Thompson was found unresponsive in his jail cell on September the 19th, 3 months after his arrest. He was arrested 3 months prior to that, and they had him thrown in this cell. No trial, nothing. Just housed him in there to die. So he lost all this weight too, because he was heavy. He was a heavy set man. And they showed the picture of his deceased body riddled with insect bites and bugs all over him. He was small. He was thin. And the mother revealed his face. It was, according to a Fulton County medical examiner's report, Mr. Thompson was found unresponsive, 3 months after his arrest and pronounced dead following attempts by local police and medical personnel to resuscitate him, according to USA Today. Mr. Harper says jail records show detention officers and medical staff noticed Mr. Thompson was deteriorating, but did nothing to administer aid or otherwise help him. The BBC U.S. media partner, CBS News, reported. I'm thinking about now of those who had loved one in these mental institutions. And I've seen documentaries on what they do to animals, cutting off their tails with big ply wires, beating them down, punching them, kicking them, just before they slaughter them. Why they got to do all of that? So you know what they did in the mental institution. You had these crazed people working there on a midnight shift, young, bored, don't know what to do. And the things that they had these patients, mentally ill patients doing, the things that they had them doing to each other with their sick satanic mind. These are individuals that can't find a job no place else, and so they working in a place where they don't want to be. And you know what they were doing to these mental ill patients. They tell you what they do to patients in the nursing home. Older patients that they choose to feed when they want to feed, if they want to feed at all. Bed sores incorporated on their bodies. Sexualizing them, beating them, ignoring them. And the mental institutions, you know, they make movies about. I tell you all the time, everything that they do, they put it on their movies and documentaries. They take time to make movies and documentaries about their actions and what they do. And you have the young 19, 20-year-old bored people. Just think about in your mind what they were doing to these mental patients in these mental institutions that they shut down. Mr. Harper said jail records show, the medical examiner's report said that there was a severe bed bug infestation in his cell in the psychiatric ward. So they don't see bugs. They do see bugs, real bugs on their body. He did. Brother Lashawn Thompson did. There was no clear signs of trauma on They said there was no clear signs of trauma on Mr. Thompson's body, but there is a picture that showed the obvious clear signs of trauma on his body. Why do they do that? Lie to you and talk to you like you children, black people. Like they were talking to Rashawn's mother, Carter's mother, that there was no foul play. They do that. They go over in Africa and talk to them like they children, telling them what to do. And one of the presidents told them, you don't have a right to come over here and tell us what to do, like talking to us like we're children. And so you could see the manifestation on his body, and then they tried to convince you of some cockamamie bull stories, try to convince you of something obvious because they think African black people are stupid. And sometimes because look at us. They think we'll believe anything. And many of us will. But question everything that they say to you. Just flip it. Because they lie, cheat, and steal. And their ex-CI director said that's what they do. Believe them what they say. They are inmates are evil. The report listed the cause of death as undetermined. How can bed bugs be deadly when you don't know they on you? When you so sick in your mind you can't get up out the bed, and so you just lay there and they do too? It was lice too. They probably brought bugs in there and put them in there. I don't put nothing past. Photos released by the lawyer paint a morbid picture of Mr. Thompson, whose face and torso can be seen covered in bugs. Well, so why do they tell you that there was no clear signs of trauma? Why do they do that? Because some black person will turn around and say, you're right. There is no clear signs of trauma. I don't see any. I don't see none. That's what some of them would do. Some of us black people would side with them when the obvious is right in your face. Conditions of the jail cell as seen in the images are horrific, said Michael Potter, an entomologist at the University of Kentucky who specialized in bed bugs. So now they're going to close this prison and move 600 patients to a new facility. A new facility is good, but it was the entities that worked there that did that. So what are you going to do with them? They got to be punished. Forget about all this justice stuff. They got to be punished because they know what they did. They practice doing this. They laugh and giggle and hee-haw about it. That's something else too. When they're speaking on important issues that's going on in the world that's detrimental to us, they make a joke out of it. They be laughing and hee-hawing. I be crying and everything is a joke. It's a joke. Everything is funny. He said, I've dealt with bed bugs for 20 plus years. Mr. Potter told the BBC, I've never seen anything quite to this level if this is in fact what I'm seeing. Bed bug bites are not usually deadly, but in some rare cases, Mr. Potter said, prolonged exposure to a massive bed bug infestation can cause severe anemia, which can be lethal if left untreated. He was in there 3 months, ignored. You know they didn't feed him properly. Did he let him out to exercise? Did he drink water? Schizophrenic people, you have to watch them. They need a guardian. And if they just threw him in there, he's a black man, they don't care. 3 months. That was a slow death as far as I'm concerned, a slow death. Bed bugs feed on blood, and very large numbers of bed bugs feed on very large amounts of blood. So they were sucking him dry. You could tell that he had thinned out in 3 months. They didn't feed him. Mr. Potter said in other extreme cases, Mr. Potter said victims may experience an allergic reaction and go into an anaphylactic shock, which can also be deadly. County launches investigation. It's no secret that the dilapidated and rapidly eroding conditions of the current facility make it incredibly difficult to meet the goal of providing a clean, well-maintained, and healthy environment for all inmates and staff. The Fulton County Sheriff Office said in a statement, we know the sheriff departments are corrupt. In Los Angeles, they have 23 gangs in the Los Angeles Sheriff Department. So these are clan everywhere. They have no compassion, no empathy, sympathy, condolences, no thoughts and prayers for black people, for Africans, for American Africans living here in this country. All of us have someone that's mentally ill in our families. Be it schizophrenic, paranoia, psychotic, depression, anything. Grief, the loss of a loved one can shut you down where you don't want to clean your body and clean your room and your house no more. So what we gonna do, black people? What we gonna do? They got us by the short hair. I'm gonna sign out. Peace if you can find it, people. Peace. as much as you can find it, to Lashawn Thompson's family and all those who loved him. We miss our loved ones, don't we? I hope he's at peace. Peace if you can find it. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Listen to this. Let it play out. It's called A Spring Breeze. Peace if you can find it.